and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 7 o'clock here in Nashville, Tennessee, which means it is time to take a walk down the dirt road while the boys and me step that step and talk that talk on this week's episode of That Sawyer Brown Show. As always, you're joined tonight by me, Madison, Mark's firstborn and favorite daughter, and the rest of the incredible Sawyer Brown Nation. So grab a strong glass of iced tea or hot tea if a random cold front is coming through your part of the country. Settle in and get ready because look who just walked into the room. The men of the hour, or so they tell themselves, Mark and Hobie.
Can I say that right as we're about to go on, your dad is pitching a fit that my chair makes me sit up taller than his does. He's very concerned about this.
I want to talk to the producer about
Here's the question, Hobie. Was that on purpose? Is that something that you snuck in?
No, I'm going to have to sit up in my chair because...
Yeah, get slouching. Get closer to Jesus, man. Get close to God.
Oh my goodness. Well, we have a huge show today for the Sawyer Brown Nation. I'm very sorry I missed last show. I was a little bit under the weather, but we are back with a vengeance. And tonight we have, for the first time, a very, very, very special guest. We're having BJ Barnum from American Aquarium on later to talk about their new cover CD where they actually they sing Some Girls Do. So that's going to be coming up later. We're gonna get to talk to him and hear all about their new CD and how they chose that song. Why they chose it, I have no idea. But anyways, we also have a very fun show because I feel like we've kind of done a lot of your big hits, a lot of the big songs, and now I am going to start throwing in some deep cuts, some things that like true Sawyer Brown Nation fan members
get dangerous.
are going to get a good chuckle out of. And if you are, newer to the nation and you are joining us, this is going to be, shall we say, an education for you and some of the more classic Sawyer Brown songs. So I feel like we should just go ahead and delve right on in. Okay, guys, I want to see your guesses as to what song we are about to unleash. It's a music video. That's your hint.
Okay.
It's a music video.
Can you tell me who the guitar player is in the video? Or is that going to be a surprise?
That's a surprise.
Help me narrow it down.
No, that's a surprise.
Okay.
Was it a single?
Or let me ask this: do I play mandolin in this video? I guess
you don't play mandolin. I don't know. You don't play mandolin.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out as we go.
Figure it out. Okay. Let's go ahead and throw it on up there.
Okay.
Wrong one.
that was a surprise.
Yeah, there we go.
The most unusual girl I'd met. She stole my heart and she took my breath. She had these certain ways I didn't understand, and when I made my move to execute my plan, she was leading me like a lamb to a slaughter. You don't mess around with Superman's daughter. Superman's daughter got a look that kills. She got an X-ray eye, she got a heart of steel. When she fell in love, I never would have caught her if I'd only known she was Superman's daughter. She is soft to touch, she is hard to hold. She is 1 minute hot, she is 1 minute cold. But it's too late, Clark, for me to turn back now. She's got me heart over mine, and I'm a-wondering how she could do anything, shy walking on water. The girl must be Superman's daughter. Superman's daughter got a looks that kill. She got an X-ray eye, she got a heart of steel. But when she fell in love, I never would have caught her if I'd only known she was Superman's daughter. Superman's daughter got a looks that kill. She got an X-ray eye, she got a heart of steel. But when she fell in love, I never would have caught her if I'd only known she was Superman's daughter.
Kilo Whiskey, thank you.
All I have
Where
to
did we
say is
start?
this wins for weirdest music video I've ever seen.
I love somebody's comment, which was just, okay, whose idea was this?
No, but really, like, whose idea was just to like,
Right? I mean, oh, no.
Well, we
So cool.
knew that the song was quirky anyway, so there was no reason to make, you know, to do the storyline as is, because it was already so quirky. So I just think we went for bizarre.
yeah, I can tell. Now, here's my next question though: is like, how did you guys pick that song to make a music video out of? Because it wasn't a single, right?
It wasn't. We actually did the song live back in the day.
Yeah, it was so popular live that we decided to do the video. And at that time, this would have been the late 80s.
Yeah, you're not.
CMT was we could get more out of a song off of CMT at times than we could at radio.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So CMT played us. I
Even
think
when radio was having doubts, CMT plays. And we shot that video at the same time that we shot the video for One Less Pony.
Yeah.
Two videos that could not be more different.
Yeah, no, really, they could not be more different.
Yeah. I just remember it was freezing cold.
And I don't think either of those songs, One Less Pony or Superman's Daughter, were singles.
Yeah,
I don't think either one.
I think One Less Pony tried to get out of the gate, but
They tried.
Radio led it back to the barn. so
you guys are
60 with an
claiming.
anchor.
yeah,
So you guys are claiming that as weird as that music video was, it was like quite popular on CMT.
Oh, absolutely.
it was. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So who came up with the concept for that one?
That would have been Mike Solomon. I mean, was it?
No, I mean, because that was.
I blame everything on
Yeah,
Mike.
when someone's blaming everything on Mike, I honestly do not remember.
I think it was Hobie's.
I think it was Steven Spielberg. Yeah, right about the time he did The Aviator, he said, "I want to do anything with a plane."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Was that no? Here's the real question: was that like you guys living out your Top Gun fantasy?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Was that
I'm
a
glad you picked up on
real
that.
plane? Was that a real plane, or was that?
That's a real plane.
No, that was a
plane.
real plane, like a World War II, one.
Well, you don't know. Don't act like you know.
Exactly. And you know,
I did like this. So
And he started out with such
I'm the pilot, and I
confidence.
stuck my head out the window to check the plane.
yeah.
To
And you
check
know, all the aviation guides say you should always stand on the wing and play mandolin and guitar. That's in all the guidebooks.
Okay, you were playing mandolin. That was my bad.
I
For
think
some
it
reason
might have
did not
even been the
register as
first
being
time.
mando.
First time that skill was used on a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, that was the originator of you being Garth Brooks' favorite mandolin player.
Exactly. I don't mean to brag, but yes. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so how? Just explain to me though, like how awkward was it that you guys are just like standing on the wings of a plane, like deadpan, playing an instrument, but like not even really playing?
Well, how awkward is it that people let us do anything, right? I mean, none of it makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it was. We recognized that it was bizarre. We
wanted it.
We
to
wanted
be.
that.
I have to tell you.
Now,
at the
why did
time-
you want it to be bizarre? Walk that back for me.
Okay.
Someone just posted Brett Darkin directed that video.
Oh wow.
That's true.
Well,
My apologies to Brett.
and the reason we probably had a little bit of a chip on our shoulder
No, you
about
can feel
country radio snubbing us.
Yeah.
And we were, at that point we were
It was our- yeah.
we went a little redneck on
Yeah,
it.
it was our version of saying pick a finger.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what happened. That's what came out.
And that's what came about was Mark in some aviator sunglasses and Hobie on the wing of a plane playing the mando.
Yeah.
Right. And you saw my mullet. My
Yeah.
mullet was in full form.
It was beautiful. I won't lie to you. That was a beautiful mullet. It was the flow was flowing.
Yeah.
So that's the first time you debuted the mandolin skill. How did that actually come about?
I think I got up there in the wing of the airplane and was like, it feels like I should be doing something.
Oh, wait.
And-
So they originally just have you standing. Please tell me they just had you standing.
They had me just standing. And even I, who have walked through life being awkward, knew this is too awkward. We got to do something up here.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Mark's like, oh, no.
I think he looked fine.
Mark's like, give him some goggles. Let him just stand there. I'm like, no. No.
Wait, why were there no goggles? Why were there no goggles?
Look closely. There's some goggles. Not on us.
Bobby had goggles.
Bobby had goggles.
Oh, okay.
And you let him have them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know. I really just enjoyed the picture, like of just you guys like sitting there, like just were you flipping through a magazine? If so, what magazine was it?
Well, we were flying the plane.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry. I did not realize.
Right. Yeah.
And I think your wife did makeup.
Really?
On that video.
Your mama did
Your
makeup.
mama.
Yeah, she did. That's right. Because it was out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in New Mexico somewhere, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You don't know.
It was outside of Albuquerque. I didn't remember that. Yeah.
Like either of you guys actually know. You don't know what kind of plane it was.
Right.
You don't know where you were. You don't even know what year it was. You don't know
B-52
it was your what?
Yeah. Wait, maybe.
Well, why do we even let them do the show?
Yeah, maybe
why do we even let them do the show? The fans know more than you.
Yeah.
Paul knew who directed it.
There's no doubt.
Well, speaking of the fans, we have a bunch of questions that I would love to go ahead and ask you guys. They were all written in. So if you guys are joining in, please go ahead and get your questions, comment your questions below so we can hopefully add some of those in. And we have a bunch that you guys wrote in this upcoming week. Whoops. Sorry. A bunch that you guys have written in. So without further ado, let's start with Frank. Frank wants to know, well, actually, I'm gonna end with that question because that kind of gets us into our special guest.
Okay.
Michael says, I know you guys love what you do, but what is your least favorite thing about the music business?
Oh, the music business.
Loaded question.
Love writing songs. Love playing music live. Sometimes you're leaving me to hang out here. There was a time when some of the music business components of it were very frustrating.
Yeah, that part. The not creative part,
Some
the not being
people,
fans part.
But no, gosh, the fans and the actual music itself is the best. That's the best.
All the other stuff.
Yeah, that other stuff is a little.
Other stuff. Well, now here's a much more lighthearted question. Eugenia wants to know if Mark's wife sings.
Yeah, let's get this one.
Oh my gosh.
No.
There's two ways of looking at that.
No.
Does she sing, or does she sing in the way that you would want to hear her sing?
I think that's a question for her daughter.
No, she does not sing.
No, she does not.
No, not one bit.
No.
Lisa does not sing.
No.
She has many wonderful, lovely attributes, but we leave the singing to Mark.
She talks off key. Yeah, that's
okay.
yeah. As we say in the South, bless her heart, but she can't sing.
No, my mama cannot
She
sing.
is pretty.
She's very pretty.
She's very pretty.
We do not allow Lisa to sing.
Yeah.
However, can I tell you guys this? This is Mother's Day, and as you get older, you learn things about your mom, and it's really cool to you kind of, especially in high school, you come to this realization that your parents were people, before they were a parent, and I actually think Hobie had gotten her a bunch of CDs for a birthday. And so this is back when we still had CDs in the car. And she plops in what was her quote unquote favorite CD. And it is a Jethro Tull CD.
Yeah,
and my mother could sing every single word on this CD. And I was like, who the heck is this woman driving me to school?
Yeah.
So yes, I have heard her sing lots and lots of Jethro Tull.
I've actually heard her sing Jethro Tull before, so.
Yes, so there you have it. So Lisa does sing, but it's probably to Jethro Tull.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, Kendrick wants to know, Mark, have you ever had pork chops and applesauce with Peter Brady, aka Chris Knight, your brother-in-law?
I actually have. I think you guys made those on one of the shows, and they looked so good. I had to taste them, and yes. I have had pork chops and applesauce made by Madison and Christopher Knight.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was very fun.
It was very good too.
So good. They were really good.
Yeah.
I'm
your
I'm
uncle
gonna
is
find
one
the
of the
recipe and
coolest
post it
people.
for you guys. I'm gonna find that recipe and post it because that was actually really good. It was really good pork chops and applesauce that Chris and I made
And
together.
so, in case people don't know, Madison's uncle and Lisa, my wife's brother, is Christopher Knight, Peter Brady from the Brady Bunch. Yeah. And so that's for those of you who might not have understood the question. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a little backstory.
Little backstory. And he was Peter Brady, who had the very famous episode about pork chops and applesauce.
Classic, baby. It's a classic.
Classic.
Yeah. That and the time they went to Hawaii, but don't get me started on Brady Bunch right now.
Okay, this is a great one from Anthony. What country artist would you like to tour with that y'all have not toured with before? Which honestly, is that anyone? You guys have played with almost everyone.
We have played with a bunch. I wonder if it would have to be one of the newer acts that we've never toured with at all.
It would have to be someone.
Most of the what I think we would call iconic acts we've toured with.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah, we've been incredibly blessed in that.
Either in a headlining or opening or support act in some fashion.
Well, since we've got him as a special guest, how can I not say American Aquarium, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Absolutely.
We'll have to toss a coin on who gets to do Some Girls Do, but other than that, we should be good.
We may have to encore and do that as a co-venture.
I love it.
It's to sing Queen of a Double Wide Trailer with DJ. So just throw that out there in the universe.
Okay, this is a great question from Joanne Mills. Have you ever gotten any interesting gifts from fans?
Oh,
now, you know what I'm going to say was my personal favorite.
Which one?
The car door.
Oh, that's,
Yeah. Tell the car door story. That's a great one.
Yeah.
People who've painted things and drawn things and made this one gentleman made these beautiful little tiny like rocking chairs that had, something for each guy on it. It was just incredibly thoughtful. Back in the day, I got a lot of Batman memorabilia. So, there's
remember the guy that brought a bobblehead that he made of you and it looked like a pencil?
Wow. How long have you been sitting on that?
You're so cold.
Oh.
Like so cold.
Oh, you know what, man? When I find the box that my self-respect is in, I'm out of here.
Gosh. Oh my God.
We got a car door that was painted and they had 6 days on the road. They had done this collage on the side.
Yeah.
And it was like super, super cool. And it was a real car door.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was like one of my favorites. I remember y'all.
Remember, it's one of the few things I would put in our house.
Yes, it was in our house. I remember you bring it to the front door, and I was like, "Is that a car door?"
Yeah.
Sure enough, it was. Oh, now this is a great one from Darlene, and I think we all know the answer to this question. Is Betty still being bad, or has she been forced to grow up?
Oh,
and I think we can say with all certainty, Marshall Chapman, the writer of Betty's Being Bad, has indeed not grown up.
No.
And she is still being bad.
Marshall
is still being bad in the best possible way. Probably having a burger at Rotier's as we speak, watching video.
And I know BJ is listening because he's going to be on it. BJ, you got to check out Marshall Chapman. Dude. Oh, yeah. She is wheels off.
Yeah.
And one of my all-time favorite people. Like my all-time favorite people.
Marshall's got stories on top of stories.
On top of stories. Yeah. She is she wrote this really cool book actually for all of our country music fans out in the audience called They Came to Nashville. And she talked to a bunch of different artists about what their first night in Nashville when they came to town was like. And it's just kind of wild to hear, all these different people's stories. And they range from, went to the Exit Inn, saw an iconic performance to slept in their car. It's just all the really cool, people first coming to Nashville stories, which is great because I feel like everyone in Nashville has one of those.
Yeah. And Marshall has seen it all. I ran into Marshall a couple months ago at the grocery store, and right off the bat, out of nowhere, she goes, "Did I tell you about the time I hit my road manager with a car?" And I'm like, "Good to see you." "No, you haven't, but I'm going to need this story."
And that's how we can confirm Betty is still being bad. Yes. Now this is interesting. Phyllis wants to ask why you don't wear shoes, but I'm pretty sure everyone here does wear shoes.
Well, now I don't know if
some
Phyllis is.
some videos we've done videos without shoes.
Yeah.
But why?
I have been known to kick my shoes off during a show.
He has.
Before,
he has.
which I think brought shame to my family, which is,
Can I ask why?
Oh, it was the thing to do. It's a cry for attention. I was a lonely second child. I don't know. I'm just rambling.
Oh, I can't breathe. Have you ever thought about doing an unplugged or an acoustic album? Amy would like to know.
I personally would love to do an acoustic or unplugged album.
What was the question again?
Amy wants to know if you've ever thought about doing an unplugged or acoustic album.
Yeah, and you know what? We during COVID, we kind of did 5 or 6 songs that was just me and Shane and Hobie in the studio. But an actual album, it would be cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. We like our electrics.
Yeah,
a lot
As
too.
I'll just say, can you have Sawyer Brown with it being unplugged?
Yeah,
that
is the
we've
question.
done a couple songs.
Yeah.
That were unplugged, all these years, and
even with acoustics, we could let Pentecostal boy here just turn loose. And,
that is true. Now Beverly wants to know. Now, okay, so let's take COVID out of this. How many days a year are you actually at home when you tour? Like it's not a COVID year; it's a typical year, just typical year.
Well,
now
it would be we're out about 100 days a year.
Well, we do about 100 days. So it would be more. We would be out probably 125 to 135 days. Now, back in the day, let's say 1985 to 95, in that range to 2000, we were well over 225 to 250 days a year.
Yeah.
1985, we did 315 cities. That was right after Star Search. And we were on tour with Kenny Rogers.
That's crazy.
Then we would go and do our own shows. And we did that year, we did 315 shows.
Yeah.
Y'all are crazy. Absolutely crazy. Well, I think after COVID, Lisa might want you to go do 300.
Right. Yeah, she does. She's ready for me to get out.
This is a great question from Chris. Which one of your hits made it up the charts, but you didn't think it was going to?
A bunch of them. Because
I guess what was like the most unsuspecting one that you were like, should that even be a single? And then it was like a big old hit.
Okay, I know the one. Hard to say. I did not think that was a radio single, and actually Phil Gernhardt at the label championed that song himself. And it was one of those things. We usually would dig our heels in and pick the singles, but he felt so strongly about that particular song. And I thought, well, I'm not going to fight him. And now if he's going to pick it, he's going to have to prove. And Buddy, he did. And it went up the charts, and it was a big radio record for us, and a great video, a little bit of a weird video as well.
Yeah.
All of your videos. Okay, I feel like all music videos are weird. If we can just start with that premise.
There was an era when they did. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now we have to throw this one up. Crystal wants to know both of y'all's favorite Elvis songs. Now, I don't know if this might be a deep cut, but Mark is a huge Elvis fan.
Yeah.
Massive Elvis fan. So what is your favorite? I don't even think I know what your favorite song is.
Jailhouse Rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hobie?
Viva Las Vegas. Which it's taken all I have not to stand up and sing it right now. But
do it. I dare you. I dare you right now. Come on. Give the people what they want.
We might have just found Hobie's new stage song.
You know what?
Did we, Fred?
You know Elvis, but until you've heard me sing Viva Las Vegas, you've only half lived. Yeah.
Y'all, Sawyer Brown Nation, if you come out to a show this summer, you might just see Hobie's new song. I don't know.
What?
You think you should do it?
I'll sing Viva Las Vegas on stage if your mom sings Jethro Tull.
I'll make that happen. I'll make that happen. Oh my gosh, amazing. Now, okay. We have 2 more questions before we get to our awesome guest, BJ. Tammy wants to know one word that you would use to describe each other.
Okay, I know what word you're going to use. You can't say it. I know exactly what. Yeah. I know exactly.
Come on.
Let me just say, I'm just going to say village.
Now I'm going to say the word you wanted to say. I was going to say something nice like friend. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Mine's still village.
Sit in that.
Village.
Sit in that. One of us gets in heaven and one of us waits at the gate.
What is wrong with y'all?
I know.
I really feel like anyone tuning in for the first time, like, really wants to know about the band and all this stuff. Like, do we just need to go ahead? They've known each other since junior high. So I'm sorry. This is what always happens.
I had hoped we would be better behaved since we have a guest coming on, but I can see now that no, that's not.
That's not going to happen one bit. Okay, so this is a question that's going to get us into our great guest. Frank wants to know, how does it make you guys feel when you hear a band like American Aquarium cover one of your songs?
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the great hope of making music is that you hope it finds a home with people, like music does for me or does for your dad. So when somebody likes it enough that they cover it or it's a part of their soundtrack of their life, that's really cool. And when they do it as cool as American Aquarium did, it's doubly cool.
Well, without further ado,
I have to tell you, I was really interested to hear it, and BJ's version is very, very good. It gets a thumbs up from me.
Yeah, it does.
Well, without further ado, I think it is time to introduce our guest. This is BJ Barnum of American Aquarium. Welcome.
Hey, BJ.
Hey, how are y'all?
Good.
Okay, so BJ, I just want to, so for a bunch of the fans that are tuning in, can you give us a little bit of background on American Aquarium, your awesome band?
American Aquarium, we are a rock and roll band from Raleigh, North Carolina. We started in 2006. Been together 15 years now, have released 13 albums in 15 years. I really thought that I had one of the records for the most shows in a year. We played 308 shows in 2011.
Dude.
And you guys just threw out, you're the only band I've ever met that threw out a bigger number. And so I kind of feel dejected. I feel like that's what I've hung my hat on for so many years.
Well, this is the year you could go do 312, man.
No, not a chance. Not a chance.
Hey, BJ, now you have a new goal, right?
Exactly. I thought I'd cross that off the bucket list, but you guys set the bar pretty high.
Well, you guys are both road warriors. That is absolutely for sure. So, okay, talk to us a little bit about this new awesome CD that you came out with, which I have to say I'm obsessed with the title, Slappers, Bangers, and Certified Twangers. Okay, how'd you come up with the concept and then especially the name?
So there was a buddy of mine, he just passed away this year, a tattoo artist out of Dallas, Texas. And every time we would play a show, if I played a new song, he would rate it. He would call it a slapper. He'd call it a banger. He'd call it a twanger. And so when we were naming this, it was pretty easy to have the title because, like I said, he passed away from a motorcycle accident last spring. And so that's where that comes from. I've had the idea to do a 90s country cover record since I was in the backseat of my dad's car. You know, it's as soon as we started playing music, you have those kind of crazy ideas that you never think you have the time for. And then COVID presented a lot of time. And so I called the boys up probably August and said, guys, how would y'all feel about going to the studio for a week and just cutting a bunch of 90s covers? And every one of them's my age. We're all in our mid-30s. They were like, yes, let's do that. And so we made a big list. We made a big Spotify playlist of probably 40 of our favorite 90s country songs. And we went down and there was a very meticulous process of narrowing this thing down. And we went through and we narrowed it down, and we went in the studio and cut 10 songs. And one of those was Sawyer Brown's Some Girls, which is a song that I've literally been singing since I was 10 years old. It's one of the most definitive songs of the 90s. And for any kid out there that grew up, there's a lot of kids out there that are going to lie and say they were influenced by whatever hit band was in the 90s and early 2000s. If you grew up in the early 90s and you were from the South, I'm calling your bluff. You were raised on 90s FM country. And as a kid like me, I always tended to drift toward the rock and roll side of things. And Sawyer Brown was this anomaly. I'm not going to say they didn't belong on country radio, but it was, you would hear like a Randy Travis song and then a Dwight Yoakam song, and then you'd hear Sawyer Brown. And it was like, which of these things is not like the other? And it was like, I want that. I want to do that. And then throw in the element of CMT in the late 80s, early 90s, and you have these visual representations of the singles. And so many of them are these boring black and white videos of just some guy singing a ballad. And then the Sawyer Brown song comes on, and I'll never forget my grandmother used to be in love with your father. And my grandmother used to be like, that man never stops moving. That man just does not slow down. And so I remember the videos were just as important to me as the songs. And don't get me wrong, I'd never seen that early video, the
Superman's daughter. Oh yeah, that's a keeper.
That is special. That is that is truly a work of art.
You want to time your drugs right when you watch that video.
Like she started, and I was like, okay, I don't think I've ever seen this. This will be a nice trip down memory lane. And then it started, and I was like, what is going? Like, it was pretty bizarre.
It's pretty great.
But it was the late 80s. A lot of things happened.
Yeah.
But we cut this record, and luckily for us, a lot of the artists that we covered have reached out and told us that they appreciate us covering their songs. But nobody's been as supportive as these guys. Sawyer Brown has been, they've made posts for us, and they've made videos for us, and that means the world to somebody like me, who a lot of people, when we released this album, we surprise released this album last Friday. Like, we didn't tell anybody it was coming, and then we just dropped it on people. And some people at first thought we were maybe poking fun at 90s country. They thought that maybe we were being a little irreverent to 90s country. And I want to let people know this comes from a very holy place for me. Like, this is the bedrock of my musical education. Like, from the age of 6 to the age of about 12 or 13, this is what shaped my idea of melody and song structure and how to tell a really great story in less than 3.5 minutes. And so this comes, and when you're making a record like this, I think the reason a lot of people haven't made this record, this is hallowed ground. You're not just messing with like a big song. You're messing with someone's childhood memories.
Right.
You're messing with somebody's favorite festival moment from like the summer of '94. Like, you got to tread lightly when you're doing this kind of stuff. And so that's why we didn't really change the arrangements much. We went in, and we tried to play it the way our band would play it. So, we're a rock and roll band, and we have a pedal steel guitar and we have a B3 organ. So we've got kind of these Americana elements to it, but we wanted to put our own spin on it, but we didn't really want to mess with it because it's not broke. And if it's not broke, we don't fix things. And so we recorded it, and luckily the guys, put their stamp of approval on it and said that it was a thumbs up, and I'll take that any day of the week. But
it sounds great.
People have been enjoying it. People seem to have. We tapped into that perfect amount of nostalgia and newness for people, because I do not. And somebody told me, I saw somebody post something. They were like, "I like Sawyer Brown's version better," and I was like, "I hope you would." Like, we're not trying to out sing them. We're not trying to outdo them. It's like there's a reason they took that song to the top of the charts, because it's a great song. And we're not trying to compete with them. We're just trying to tip our hat and thank them for laying the way for rock and roll bands to be considered country bands. Because our last 3 records have finished, in the top of the Billboard country charts, and we are not a country band. I don't know who we have to tell. Like, people hear me sing and see a pedal steel guitar, and they're like, "Oh, that's a country band." But it's nice to. I think we pull back the curtain a little too much, because a lot of people think we were more influenced on the early 2000s alt country movement and the Americana movement. And I think this record fully pulls the curtain back and says, no, they were definitely influenced by early 90s country just as much as they were the hip Americana bands of the early 2000s.
So tell me, oh, sorry, go, Hubby, go.
I love this record, man. I love the song choices. It was total memory lane for me when I first started listening. So I'm telling you, me, Queen of a Double Wide Trailer, I just want that to happen at some point.
Oh, anytime.
I'll ditch this guy in a heartbeat.
Like, for you guys to like live in?
No. Don't live out your dreams through my words, man. Write that down.
That was the really best part about this, was watching people wake up on Friday morning realizing there was a new record, and then falling back in love with a lot of these songs. These are all songs. It's 10 songs, and I guarantee all the listeners.
It is a solid list. I have to say, from like my perspective as like loving 90s country, when I looked at it, I was like, yes, awesome choice. I feel like you just nailed whatever you nailed it.
Go back and listen to some of BJ's other stuff if you're discovering him through this, because one of my favorite records of last year was Lamentations, which is so well written. I'm listening, going, this is what I'm supposed to get when I listen to music. Is that sort of like a real connection and real feel.
That means a lot to me. Thank you.
And Rockingham, which is even older, but man, there's a lot of good stuff out there.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We wanted for fans who were 20 and 30 when you guys were touring big in the early 90s. We wanted them to hear these songs and kind of take a walk down memory lane. But I also made this for kids my age, who this was our introduction to not just country music. This was our introduction to music, was growing up and listening to the FM stations of small rural America. Like, this was my escape. This was me sitting in the back of an S10 Blazer with my dad, driving to the grocery store, blaring Kathy Mattea songs. Like, this is my life. And so I hope that when people listen to this, they reconnect to those memories, because that's what it is to me. A lot of the memories I have with these songs, the people I have these memories with aren't here anymore. And so these songs are that connection with my mother, with my grandmother, with my grandfather. And it means the world to me, because they're not just songs. Like, these are a fabric of who I am. Mm-hmm. And so to be able to take people kind of down that path and kind of show them a little bit more of where I came from, it feels good. And the fact that people are just having, because this is a fun record. Like, our studio records are they're really serious songwriter records. Like, they're heavy, kind of emotionally and thematically. And this record, we had one purpose, and that was to go into the studio and have as much fun as humanly possible singing. Like, when you sing John Deere Green at the top of your lungs in a vocal booth, there's something that feels really good about that. And we had a ball doing it, and we appreciate you guys for kind of championing it. And because there's plenty of people that are like, oh, these kids are going to do one of my songs, pshaw. But I really appreciate you guys stepping up and saying, this is pretty rad.
No, it's a cool record.
Well, it's well done, BJ.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, can I ask you a couple questions? Because I want to know, like, what made you say, I want to be in a band, I want to do music? Was it like listening to those 90s songs, or was there like a certain moment that you're like, this is for me?
I was a really bad bartender. A really bad bartender. No, I went to school. I went to the NC State University here in Raleigh. I was majoring in political science and history. I was going to go to law school. I was down the educational path, and I found music. I grew up in a small town. I didn't know there was an independent band thing. I knew that there was like my drunk uncle that would play really bad covers at like family reunions, and then there was Sawyer Brown. There was no. You were either playing the Greensboro Coliseum, where I'm from, or you were playing in somebody's backyard at a bonfire. Like, there was no middle ground. And so when I moved to Raleigh, which is a big city here in North Carolina, I started realizing there were clubs that would actually pay you to play original. It was $100 to play original tunes, and you get free beer and get to talk to girls. And that was enough for me to be like, man, I can play 3 chords. I can learn a G, C, and D and get up on stage at 18. And then once I started writing songs, I started falling in love with the craftsmanship of songwriting. And then my friends, more people than just my friends, started telling me that they liked my songs. And I was like, okay. So I booked tiny little circles outside of Raleigh, and we started building a small regional fan base. And then one thing led to another, and you look up and you're 10 years in, you got 6 or 7 records, and you're playing in front of 300 or 400 people every night, and you start realizing like I might have a chance to actually do this for a living. Mm-hmm. And fast forward to now, we're 15 years in. A lot of people, over here in the comments might have never heard of our band, but we've been touring for 15 years. We're playing, 1,000 to 1,500 person rooms, and I'm completely okay with that. Like, if this is as big as it ever gets, like, I get to take care of my family and write songs and play music for people, and that's a blessing all in itself. And so, I don't know the exact moment that I was like, man, I think I'm, because I was writing like really the first song. Everybody knows that your first songs are terrible. When you first start writing songs, they're like horrific, and I always equate it to like it's a craft. So imagine going up to a premier like cabinet maker and being like, man, let me see your first set of cabinets. There's no way he'll ever show you his first set of cabinets, but you can buy my first set of cabinets on iTunes right now for 99 cents. And they're horrible, but as you, just like any craft, the more you do it, the better you get. And fast forward 15 years, and I feel like I'm at a really good place to where other folks call me like a real songwriter. And I think that, that means the world to me.
Well, another thing that you have in common with Dad is that you guys both have had the supreme joy of raising a daughter. Can you tell us a little bit about her?
Yeah.
My daughter is 3 years old. Her name's Pearl. And
Does she call the shots?
She's got me wrapped. Like mom is the only force standing in between her just completely being a dictator and ruling the entire house. But she's got me wrapped. From day one, I was like, I'm not going to be that dad. I'm not going to be the guy that like is a pushover. And the minute she told me she loved me, I was like, whatever you want, kid. Like you can have it all.
Yeah.
So she's rad. And the last year has I think they touched on it earlier. Being home has been kind of weird, for a band like us, much like a band like them. We spend most of our year on the road, and I don't think I've ever had a month off the road in 15 years. Mm-hmm. And so to have, 16 months off the road, has been weird, but it's also been really great because I don't have to tell all the other parents out there, like being the parent of a 3-year-old, I've got to see so much change since from 2 to 3. Mm-hmm. Like I've got to see her take her, like, put together her first sentences and start talking to me and start doing all of these first that I would have totally missed on the road. Mm-hmm. And so moving forward, I think that's going to be a big priority is, we've completely turned the back of the bus into like, it has a crib now.
That was what I was about to ask, was like, has this whole tour bus been converted?
The tour bus has been turned into just like a back, like artist lounge into a full blown like daddy daycare for like taking her on the road. So.
Well, that's what we did. He packed us up and said, come on. And at one point, one summer, we took the dog with us.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, we were through the circus.
We usually try, if I'm gone for more than 2 weeks, my wife tries to come out for a week.
Awesome.
I don't like spending too much time away from like that kind of, it's what grounds me. It's what keeps me motivated and keeps me focused on like what is really important. And so being on the road, sometimes the whirlwind, you get caught up in it. But having them with me, I get to wake up every morning at 7 and go to the zoo and come back and sound check and then put her to bed and go in and play a show. It's hard to describe to people, but it's everything I've worked for. It's everything I've ever wanted, is to be able to kind of have my cake and eat it too. Be able to be a musician and make people happy and make myself happy, but also raise my kid on the road and teach her like. As a kid who grew up in rural North Carolina, I didn't get to see any of the world other than Myrtle Beach until I was 20. And so my daughter's already been to 34 states, and she's 3 years old. I'm proud of that. I'm proud that she gets to see the world, and hopefully she's a better person than I am when she gets older and doesn't choose music.
Why does he sound exactly like you, Dad? Like, absolutely.
And as you can see, it's not going to lighten up at all. But
exactly.
It's not going to lighten up.
I told my wife, I was like, if she does choose music, like she's at least her last name guarantees her at least 50 people in every town. Like, she can have one tour where she makes a little bit of scratch, and then she's really got to prove that she's talented.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Well, we have a very special surprise for everyone as we have actually pulled a video of you guys playing your Some Girls Do cover song, and we would love to share it with the whole Sawyer Brown Nation. So quick before we go, just again, a huge thank you, BJ, for being with us tonight. This says, we love your new CD, Slappers, Bangers, and Certified Twangers. Everyone needs to go out.
Yeah, baby, check out that vinyl.
Listen to the CD. Truly and honestly, it's just going to make you smile. It's just going to make everyone smile. Like you said, I feel like all of those old 90s country songs, when you sing them in your car at the top of your lungs, you just can't help but be a little happy. And I think we all need a little happy right now.
And that's exactly what it was. We did it as a distraction to get away from kind of the craziness of the world last year. And I hope it offers people a fun distraction. It's 38 minutes of sheer nostalgia. Like I think you'll have fun. There's no way you listen to this record and frown unless you're just a miserable human being.
So, without further ado, free smiles for everyone. This is American Aquarium playing Some Girls Do.
Well, I ain't first class, but I ain't white trash. So why